Hi guys, you're welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Ria and I'm a lifestyle and immigration content creator living in Dublin, Ireland. If you're seeing my chubby face for the first time, you're welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, what's up G? How are you doing? So in today's video, this one is it's an important one actually. I'm gonna be talking about what they do not tell you before you come to Ireland, or more or less like the downsides of living in Ireland. I know Ireland is such a great place, don't get me wrong. All of this points I'm going to be listing here are somewhat my own observation, my own opinion. I haven't lived here for like close to 3 years. I would say that at least I can differentiate good from the bad, right? And in this video I'm going to be giving you themes or just a very few points that shows the downside of living in Ireland, or like what people don't necessarily say so much when they tell you to come to Ireland to either school or to either study. And if this is something that you're willing to listen to or gain knowledge from, then you should definitely stick around. So my very first point, which is the obvious, I don't want to say the obvious, but it's more or less the obvious really. If you're planning on coming to Ireland to study or maybe to work, you've gotten a job offer or whatnot, I think that this is something that you should actually research, and like it's not hidden, you will definitely find it. I think of recent, like a couple of weeks back, so far now Ireland has now kind of topped the list of countries that are, would I say, the most expensive, or one of the most expensive in the whole of the European Union, which is quite wild. And I've seen like a lot of tweets about that, and people saying, oh, now Ireland is so expensive. When people say Ireland is really expensive, I don't think you should think that they're actually joking or take it lightly, because the truth of the matter is that yes, Ireland is extremely expensive, and that leads us to our very first point, which is high cost of living. I know I say this many times than not, that Ireland is expensive, but this time with serious emphasis on the fact that Ireland is actually an expensive country recently. And I think that this has happened like since after the COVID, things have just skyrocketed in like the bills, rent, groceries even now are increasing prices. It's really surprising, and that's something that you definitely should know. I know when people say, oh, come to Ireland, people generally just say, oh, because maybe Ireland is in the EU, it should probably be cheap. No, not necessarily, because Ireland here as a country has a very, very high cost of living, very high one, and that's something that you should definitely put into consideration when you're coming here to study or when you're coming here to work. For example, the bills now, especially with the electricity bills and the gas bills. If you're living in Ireland or you have lived there for a while recently, I know what I'm talking about, please leave it down in the comment section. So far, I even heard that I think a couple of weeks or months back, like these companies that provide us with these services have somewhat increased their percentage and how like their billing services and whatnot. And right now, a bill that you could maybe pay before for like, let's say like 50 to 100 euros, this time around you're paying it for 150, 170, even 200 if you're not taking care, if you're not pulling yourself back and you're just living your life and turn on every electricity in the house, using heater maybe because of the cold or whatnot, you could be climbing 200 euros for a house per month. And trust me, that's possible, that has happened, and it didn't used to be like that, and things have like really skyrocketed really in Ireland. These days people will say, oh, maybe my salary, these days even the average salary cannot necessarily help you pay your rent, pay your bills, and still enjoy the good things of life. And that's something that I always say, enjoying the good things of life is more or less like paying your rent, because it's very, very, very important. So that's one point that I think a couple of people know, but it needs to be emphasized, that if you're coming to Ireland, you need to understand that this country is really expensive. It's not one of the other EU countries that is relatively okay, even in terms of like tuition fees. Like when I came here for tuition fees, I was paying how much? 15,000, and then 50,000 euros for just a year for tuition fees, compared to how like other EU countries would be paying. Like for example, in Poland now, you will see fees that are like 3,000, 5,000 euros per year, and that's like for the whole of your masters, even as low as 1,500 for your master's degree program. But here in Ireland, they start starting tuition fee is about like, let's say 10,000 or 12,000 euros and above, and I paid 15,000, and within 3 years the school fees has skyrocketed. The same school fees, the same thing, the same program, the same everything. Now it's about 18,000, 80 pounds, 80 euros, and I'm just like, what happened within 3 years that 3,000 euros extra has been added? Do you understand? So like, the way of life right now is really, really expensive, and I don't know why that has happened, but I think that this is something that you should put at the back of your mind if you're willing to come to Ireland, that Ireland is extremely expensive these days. And yeah, that's number one point. My second point would be car insurance, right? I don't think I've ever spoken about getting a car here on my channel before, but this is something that I'm researching recently, and I've come to the realization that cars are not necessarily so expensive. Let me put that in brackets. If you're looking for like a used car, if you're looking for a new car, of course you will be paying the amount of a new car, right? But if you're looking for like a second hand, or like, you know, a used car it's a car that someone has used before and you're willing to continue from where they stopped, those cars are not necessarily expensive. You could see cars for 500 euros, you could see cars for 800, for 1,000 euros, for 2,000 euros. Now you buy the car goes down to your budget and what you like, your preference and whatnot, right? Now the main problem is not the car, it's the insurance that comes with the car for international people, not just students, international people. You could get a car of, let's say, 1,000 euros now, and then you're paying an insurance of 3,000 euros. I don't know, like, as I'm even saying it, I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm buying a car of 1,000 euros and I'm paying an insurance of like 2k, 2,500, 3,000. That's like triple the amount that I'm using to buy a car. I might as well buy 4 cars. Do you understand what I'm saying? So car insurance is also another thing that you need to put at the back of your mind. You need to put at the back of your mind, especially if you're coming here and even as a student and you just want to drive, you don't want to be using like the whole transport, bus, tram and whatnot. Or if you're coming here to work, or if you have a family and you just really just want to drive and not go through the hustle and bustle of getting buses here and there, and you're looking to get, you know, a car, you need to understand that the insurance would probably strain you and make you not to even get it, or maybe delay you from getting it. But yeah, that's something that I don't think has been said quite often on my channel, ever, even on my channel. But I need to let people know that, you know, getting a car is not really so expensive if you're going for the used ones, right? But the insurance is what's going to finish your money, yes, and miscellaneous as well, and like taking care of the car and all of that. So that's something that you should definitely put at the back of your mind with Ireland. Unlike, you know, my country, Nigeria, where I mean, like, we do pay for insurance, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as like triple or twice the price of what I'm buying the car for. It's not possible, really. But yeah, really, that's what it is here in Ireland. And mind you, like, you paying for this insurance is actually quite good, because sometimes some insurance could cover the fact that maybe if there's an accident or something goes wrong, you could definitely get like a new car. They'll provide you with I don't know if it's a new car now because you're buying a used car, but insurance that you get is actually, you know, protection for your car just in case anything goes wrong, and which is actually quite like very important and very needed. It's just that the amount that you're using to pay this insurance is what, like, I am not really understanding. But yeah, that's a point that I think that people should know if you're looking to buy a car in Ireland. So now my third point would be housing issues. I know I have said this a lot of times on this channel that the housing issues in Ireland is very, very bad, and this time around I say it with no fear of contradiction that it is horrible. I don't want to use the word horrible, but getting an apartment in Ireland is bad. It's hard. It's like looking for a job that will sponsor you. I'm not even joking. It's really, really hard. To be very, very honest, it's extremely hard. Recently, I don't know what has gone wrong, and like, everyone is looking for a place. Most people that I know, they're looking for places to stay. They're looking for an apartment to stay in. And it's not like maybe you're seeing this apartment and like maybe they're high priced. I mean, like, you're seeing this apartment, they're high priced, but you're also willing to compromise and pay and move in because you need a place to stay. But this time, like these days, you're not even seeing these apartments. Normally before, on rent.ie, I always recommend rent.ie or daft.ie on the channel for you guys, and you guys go to those websites, right, and you're kind of like seeing one or two houses that you could probably apply to and whatnot. But these days, you're not even seeing these apartments to even apply for. You go on this website like this, and you go like in a week, you'll see the same house that you saw there. In 2 weeks, you're seeing the same house that you saw there. Like, there are no new uploads these days. It's quite difficult for you to even find a place. You go for a view, and like, I have a friend that is constantly looking for a place, and she has gone for a couple of views, and every viewing that she has gone to, at least nothing less than 20 people for that same particular room or that same particular studio apartment, and they end up not giving it to her. We don't even know who they're giving this apartment to, but somehow people that go for the apartment viewing say they don't give it to them, but then the house is gone. That's something you need to prepare your mind for if you're coming to Ireland to either study or even to work. I can't even say maybe start looking for accommodation before you come, because how do you even find these accommodations? Most of the times, like I always say, the landlord wants to see who they're giving the place to before they actually give it out. So it's not like you saying, oh, I have a friend here, I have a family that will help me. It's possible for that, but like very slim chances would you, like with your family or like a friend, find a place for you to come and the landlord will wait till you come. Like it rarely happens, to be very honest. Most times I either have to like the whole Airbnb stuff or like the whole booking stuff for you to be able to get a place. Or maybe if you're coming here as a student, you don't have to use like your college accommodation, which is also like ridiculously expensive. And then that's something that you really need to put into consideration if you're going to come to Ireland. You need to prepare your mind, prepare your heart, and prepare your account balance, and know that this is something you're going to struggle with for a while till you get settled. Okay, my fourth point would be the nightlife here in Ireland. Okay, and this is also another topic I don't even think I've even spoken about at all on this channel before. So like the pubs here in Ireland, they tend to close early. For example, on a weekday they would close around like 11 or half 11, 11:30, or maybe like 12. I think barely would you find one that closes at 12 a.m. on a weekday. But then the weekends they do close at 2 a.m, 2:30 a.m, thereabouts. Or like where I'm coming from, where we like party in the club to like the next day 5 a.m or 6 a.m, sometimes even 7 o'clock in the morning. People are just coming out of the club. Here the nightlife is quite different. So if you're more or less like an outdoor person, like a social person, a giant person that likes to always stop the club, and especially if you're coming from like Nigeria, you always want to hang out in the club with your friends and whatnot, the timing is quite different. And then that's something that you need to put into consideration here. Is like your phone is kind of like short-lived because of the time constraints. But yeah, that's also something that I thought to actually do mention about here living in Ireland. Yeah. And then my last point would be the weather. I think everybody that knows me and know that I talk about Ireland knows that housing issue is something that I always talk about, and secondly, weather here is also something that I always talk about as well. I think so far so good during this summer. For like the past few weeks now, the weather has been great. It has kind of been balanced, right? It's been raining, but you get a good amount of sun as well, but it still rains regardless, even if it's summer. Well, like during the winter it's a very higgy haga weather, and like people would always say like in a day you could even experience like 4 seasons. Like it could be raining, sun would probably shine, it could be windy at the same time, like everything happening all at once within a period of, let's say, 2 hours. Sometimes 2 hours is even a bit much. Maybe within an hour you could experience changes, and that's why it's always advisable if you're coming to Ireland, you need to understand the weather and how it works here. There is this app I'm going to recommend. If you're in Ireland or you're willing to come, you should download the Aku Weather, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly, but Aku Weather, I'll leave it on the screen now. So that particular app, if you download it, it's like a guideline, like a good guideline, not really exact, but it tells you when it's about to rain and how many minutes it's going to rain, and kind of like it's a good app to actually use if you're going out almost every day, so that you're kind of prepared. And also another thing I need to tell you, if you're coming to Ireland or you're already here in Ireland, the weather, you kind of just have to dress like it's balanced for you. So you can't be too showy and you can't be too covered. You know, you have to kind of like dress in between to be able to, you know, weather the weather regardless of how it comes. So yeah, the weather is actually like also a big thing that comes with, you know, the downsides of living in Ireland. It could change your plans, it could spoil your day, you could do a lot of things that you're not ready for. But if you have this weather app on your phone, and that guides you, and then you know what you're going to do, how you're going to dress, what you need to take out, I mean, trust me, you'll be actually very good. These days it's so bad that if it's raining, it's like it's sun is shining. Like, rain should not stop you from going to where you're going to, because trust me, it could rain the whole day and you probably will not go to where you're meant to go to. So yeah, I think that's like the last point. I just have like 5 points I wanted to share with you guys about what it's like living in Ireland, what people don't necessarily say out loud, and what I think would somewhat be equated to the downsides of living in Ireland. So far so good as an international person here in this country. So yeah, if you have any more points that I didn't mention, please don't forget to leave them down in the comment section and we'll chat away from there. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell down beside the subscribe button. My name is Ria and I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. But for now, bye, ciao ciao.